now, we're still tracking widespread storms and some flooding. Dense fog, also a big concern overnight. I have your full forecast. It's coming up.
Heartbreak in Central Virginia. The severe flooding leads to the death of a 12-year-old swept away in fast-moving waters. The shocking video of the dangerous conditions all across our region.
A Georgetown researcher released from federal custody. Why he was arrested by immigration police and the months-long battle to finally get to this point.
A grocery store price check as fears of inflation and new federal numbers are out. We're helping you stretch your dollar with where you'll save on essentials.
Football may be months away, but the excitement is already building. The NFL schedule is released tonight and the big Christmas Day game we can expect for the Commanders.
Watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for DC News Now at 9 o'clock. I'm Chris Flanagan.
And I'm Susan Tran. The severe weather in our region now responsible for the death of a young boy in Central Virginia. Developing tonight, the flood dangers are with us. Still here, crews monitoring all of these rivers in our region that could crest over. That means spilling more water onto our roadways. And the flood watches and warnings, they continue as the DMV prepares for the potential of more storms in the coming days. We have team coverage for you tonight. DC News Now's Ben Dennis has been following the flooding and has more on what's ahead.
Yeah, but first, let's get right over to Chief Meteorologist Janessa Webb. And Janessa, can we expect any more flooding tonight?
Absolutely. We're actually seeing it right now. If you're across Western Maryland, the National Weather Service asking people to kind of get to higher ground at this point. A flash flood emergency has just been put in place for Laredo. I've been watching this storm for the last hour. It has finally made its way into areas of Front Royal, about to impact Winchester area and then Garrett County. This will stay in place until 11 o'clock tonight, so they're expecting this band to continue to lift out of Charlottesville and then really expected for Garrett County. That's an emergency, and then you have flash flood warnings that are in place for all of our rivers and streams across Western Maryland that will stay in place until tomorrow morning. You can see this moisture. It just wants to kind of train and go over the same spots pretty repetitively. At midnight tonight, things will start to get better. Now, if you're in D.C., we're not seeing significant rain flow, but the dense fog is starting to kind of make its way across the entire region, and that's going to be a huge issue tomorrow morning. 68 degrees, dew points, they're still very high. We've seen over 5 to 6 inches out towards Western Maryland, and so near record breaking across that region, and so we'll continue to watch this moisture. At this point, flash flood watch still remains in place until midnight tonight. Overnight lows, we're back into the 60s, and then going into tomorrow, it's a day to dry out, but I have issued a DMV first warn for Friday. We'll take a look at that coming up.
All right, Janessa, more now on our developing story. Flooding on the outskirts of the DMV turning deadly overnight. A 12-year-old boy swept away in Virginia and Western Maryland, now bearing the brunt of water, overflowing banks and creeks and rivers there, causing really significant damage. DC News Now's Ben Dennis joins us along the banks of the Potomac and Shenandoah rivers in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia.
And Ben, let's talk about the conditions. What are they like out there where you are right now?
Hey there, guys. More on that in just a moment. It is communities like Harpers Ferry on the exact corner of West Virginia, Virginia, and Maryland that are used to flooding from time to time. That is certainly going to be the case tonight, and conditions are going to get worse. We'll show you right here why. This is the banks of the Shenandoah River. We're mere yards away from where it comes together with the Potomac. These paths where people normally bike and walk every single day, they're now underwater, so are the bottoms of trees.
Yeah, it is floating.
Tonight, tires, trees, and large pieces of debris cascade down rivers in the DMV. Roads became brown waterways in parts of northern and central Virginia, as well as western Maryland. 2 elementary schools were evacuated yesterday from flooding in Allegheny County.
It did turn out to be a disaster.
Terry Beeman is a school custodian here.
But if people just paid attention and used their heads a little bit and stayed away from it and out of it, you know, they was out of danger.
Communities in recovery mode near creeks and rivers bracing for more potential problems overnight. Members of Montgomery County Fire's Swiftwater Rescue Team are back home tonight after lending a helping hand. Just west of Charlottesville, authorities recovered the body believed to be a 12-year-old swept away Tuesday. Governor Youngkin saying, "Our hearts are crushed as we learn the loss of Jordan Sims, asking people to remain vigilant. Authorities echoing that call.
People that are along the river and campers should get out, and they only got a short notice to get out, and before the first responders have to get out there to rescue the people.
And schools in Allegheny County were closed today. They will stay closed tomorrow. Meantime, as Janessa mentioned, several counties are under those flash flood warnings along the river bed and in the Potomac and the Shenandoah rivers as well. We're going to be here exactly 1 hour from now on the CW. We're going to give you an update. We've actually placed a marker here of where the water has come up on the banks right now and show just how quickly some of these waters are rising and expected to do so overnight. In Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, Ben Dennis, back to you.
All right, Ben, thanks. And as Ben just mentioned, Allegheny Public Schools will be closed tomorrow. There will be no virtual classes. All school offices will be closed as well.
The heavy rain fueling the flash flooding in the region. Take a look at this area that looks underwater. First responders reminding people not to drive onto roads that are underwater and never go around any barricades. Officials have set up emergency shelters in Allegheny and Garrett counties to help families who have been forced to evacuate. You can find all the details on our website, dcnewsnow.com. Just type flooding into that search tab. For more weather updates and the very latest on the forecast, make sure to download our DC News Now weather app right onto your phone, and that way you can have alerts delivered to where you live. You can also get all the details on our website, again, dcnewsnow.com.
All new tonight, President Trump is expected to meet with South Africa's president at the White House next week. The talks follow allegations by President Trump that genocide is being committed against white farmers there. South Africa denies that claim. The meeting also comes after the U.S. welcomed 59 white South Africans as refugees. This is video of them arriving at Dulles Airport Monday. South Africa says President Trump's criticisms are based on misinformation about their country's laws. Well, developing now at 9, a Georgetown scholar now on his way home to Virginia nearly 2 months after being detained by ICE. Badar Khan Suri was arrested, and the Trump administration argued for his deportation. They called him a threat due to his wife's connections to Gaza. But his attorneys argue he is no threat and has a right to free speech. The judge agreed, and now he's out in custody. DC News Now's Max Marcilla shares the moments following his release.
Speaking after his release, Georgetown scholar Badar Khan Suri says he is grateful for his attorneys, but also made note that justice delayed is justice denied. He also condemned ICE for his treatment while in detention. After nearly 2 months in ICE custody, Badar Khan Suri is free.
There was no charge, there was nothing. They made a subhuman out of me.
His release happening just a few hours after a federal judge in Alexandria ordered it. Back in Virginia, his wife Mafez thanking the judge.
It's a victory for all of us. A victory for justice.
Khan Suri was arrested outside of his Arlington apartment back on March 17th and eventually brought to a detention center in Texas. The Trump administration says it revoked his student visa because of his social media posts and his connection to his Palestinian wife and her father, who worked with Hamas.
He should have never been arrested and jailed for his constitutionally protected speech just because the government disagrees with him. He should have never been punished for his relationship with his wife or his father-in-law.
Badr told me, if my suffering in the detention center is because I married to a Palestinian and because I spoke out against the genocide in Gaza, then I should wear it as a badge of honor.
The ruling was a moment to celebrate for those rallying at the courthouse for Khan Suri's release, as his loved ones eagerly await his return.
I can't wait for the moment when my husband will reunite with my children.
Khan Suri's next immigration hearing is set for June 3rd, the judge giving no other conditions for his release other than he has to attend those hearings. Reporting at Georgetown University, Max Marcilla, DC News Now.
Max, thank you. We have new details on a deadly double shooting inside of a restaurant in the district. Police now have released the victim's name. They say Waquiz Zanders was killed in the Southeast Wing Shop last night on Benning Road. A second person was also shot, but is expected to be okay. Police are still looking into what led up to that violent encounter as they search for the shooter. Now to a heartbreaking tragedy in Maryland. A teen is accused of accidentally shooting and killing his friend while playing with a gun in a Beltsville home this weekend. DC News Now's Tim Reed has more on the 16-year-old victim, whose family says he was beloved by everyone who knew him.
Derek Palmer's family says they are devastated. They are heartbroken and tell us he was loved by everyone he knew.
I just want everybody to remember that my nephew was full of life. He loved anybody that he came around. Everybody was his best friend.
That is how Derek's aunt, Dia Hairston, describes who the 16-year-old was. Since a young child, his family says he had a passion for sports, especially football. He played in youth leagues and was on the football team at John F. Kennedy High School in Silver Spring.
Derek, I think, has been playing football since he could hold a football in his hand. If he, at one point in time, like, the helmets were too big to fit on his head, but he still was going to play football.
The teenager's life was cut short Saturday. Police charged his friend, 18-year-old Kamari Kamara, with manslaughter and gun charges after investigators say Kamara was playing with a gun and shot and killed Palmer. It happened at his house in Beltsville on Hartwood Drive. His family spent the afternoon looking at old pictures reflecting on his life.
It's just really tough. A lot of people in the community are hurt and broken up over this. His school, his counselors, his coaches, his friends, neighbors. We're just all dealing with it the best way we can.
Police have not said where the suspect got a gun, but family members are urging other families to be cautious.
Guns are dangerous. They're not toys. They're nothing to be played with. Every gun should be treated like it has live ammunition and can hurt someone.
The Palmer family tells us they are making funeral arrangements, and it's something they thought they would never have to do for someone they love who was so young. In Beltsville, Maryland, Tim Reed, DC News Now.
Now to an update out of Maryland on a 9-year-old who accidentally fired a gun in class back in April. Police in Charles County have now charged a relative in this incident. Investigators say that Philip McCrae Bright was visiting from Florida and giving the boy a ride to school. He believes the child got into the car before he did, and while looking for candy in the console, the child found the gun and put it into his backpack. Police say when the child was at school and looking for a paper in his bag, that's when he accidentally fired the gun. Bright did report the gun missing, but it wasn't until after the incident at Billingsley Elementary that he realized the little boy had the firearm the whole time. Bright now faces several gun charges.
A benchmark celebration in Maryland. The Boys and Girls Club of Indian Head held a grand opening at the Gordon Croft Clubhouse today. The new clubhouse will help support the community and more opportunities for kids in Southern Maryland.
My friends, it's not even summer yet, but we're already talking football. The first game of the regular season, 113 days away.
Can't come quickly enough, right? Tonight, NFL teams releasing their full schedules. Here now a look at the Commanders' schedule. It includes a Christmas Day game at home against the Cowboys. That is at 1 p.m. Their season opener against the New York Giants. That'll be September 7th. They also have 2 Monday night football games, one against the Bears, the other against the Chiefs, as well as 2 Sunday night games, a Thursday night game and an international game against the Dolphins in Spain on November 16th.
The Baltimore Ravens releasing their schedule as well, with what looks like a nod to the hit TV show Severance. Their first game is against the Bills. It's Sunday night. It's a matchup on September 7th. It's followed by the Browns, then a Monday night game against the Lions. On October 30th, Baltimore will take on Miami in a Thursday night matchup. Meanwhile, the Washington Capitals getting ready to avoid elimination in their playoff series against the Carolina Hurricanes. Game 5 is tomorrow night at the Capital One Arena. The Canes have 3 wins in the best-of-7 series, so the Caps have to get a W tomorrow, or it's the end of the season. The puck drops at 7.